knight.
Wesley,
Oh, no, I mean,
Magnus cracking up, and Wesley.
That is.
If someone doesn't clip that moment and help that thing go viral, there's nothing more I can do for you. All of our fans here, please clip the last 45 seconds, 30 seconds of that game, because that was bananas. Eric, I'm sorry, that was crazy.
No, we did not expect Wesley in that form falling for some of these motifs that we've all seen quite a bit, but you do, 1 out of 100 games fall for it, and that was that one of, and that is, unfortunately, he's on the wrong side of a highlight reel there.
Yeah.
Queen takes f2 and the knight g3, rook h5.
You and I love when our inappropriate directions of the conversation become relevant, because in that situation, Wesley did not have one of his favorite positions, and it ended up being a puzzle book mate. I mean, that was seriously queen takes f2, knight g3. Somebody put it in Tactics Trainer.
That is going to be in Tactics Trainer.
All right. Well, Wesley's got to shake it off. You said vintage. Wesley is wins and draws, and that was the kind of game you don't want to have happen, but that's why it's blitz. It
was the kind of game, at least when you're in Wesley's shoes right now, before you were wondering, like, how do I beat Magnus? How do I do it? Now, that loss you attribute to yourself. I blundered. Maybe I was getting a little too, optimistic, but at least that's in his control. When the real till happens, when you're like, how do I beat Magnus Carlsen? Like, the guy just gives me no room. Right now, at least it's in his control. If he takes it the right way, I think he can recover here.
And
he's got a great position.
White Phoenix and Love Chess for subscribing. Appreciate it. All right. Well, now we're back to something a little more tame, a little less.
Well, this is actually it's interesting. It is tame, but it's very, very important in this specific position that Black plays f5, f4, because otherwise his 5 pawns on the king side are sort of useless in games. They're very hard to push. They sort of block his own bishop. White would be playing c4, knight c3, knight d5, and taking over, playing around that formation. The only reason this formation could be good is in the middle game with an attack. So Wesley has to attack this game, and I'm expecting fireworks. I'm expecting f4. I'm expecting queens on the board, because the end game is not going to be good. Those double pawns are just, White's just going to leave them there and say I have a queenside majority.
Yep. Yeah, fantastic. Educational points there by Eric. Black needs to be all in here because the structure greatly favors White if we head to an endgame. So Magnus is going to try to put the kibosh on that with g3 to overprotect f4, but f4 is going to come anyway. It doesn't matter what you do to stop f4, because as you said, Eric, he doesn't really have a choice, and here it comes.
He's going for it. That's good. No, I like it though. At least I think that was the right read of this position. And his bishop is going to c8. And going to some money squares, h3, g4, all inclusive. Maybe you throw in a move like king h7 here if you want to be real prophylactic, just avoiding any pins and getting off the back rank. Okay, so knight c1.
Got to be knight c1. The knight's trapped.
So you're down 2 pawns, but you got attack. I'm not sure I would have done that. But if you're going to do that, you're really banking on mate, because you've just closed off your rooks. You're really banking on the fact that you can maybe play queen g4, followed by rook h5, followed by rook h5. Rook f5, followed by rook h5. Mm-hmm. All those light squared ideas. He's really banking on mate here. Before, at least he could open up the f file. Now it's all in. What
I agree.
White can do
felt like
is
there
get
was
the queen
maybe
to
a more
f1.
patient approach there from Black, but it's definitely all in, right? White has everything that you would ever need to win a game over here on the queen side, and so it'll be whether Magnus can defend the mating net.
He gets the queen on f1. Look, I'm going to put my bishop on c8 and try to play bishop h3, bishop g2, and do some sort of queen sack. What's he doing here?
Interesting.
Bishop a6. He wants to stop the queen from getting a6. I would play queen f1 now, and if bishop a6, I would play c4, followed by b3, and at least my queen gets to f1. Oh, this is a critical game here. The players are going for it. Rook g6 threatening queen takes h4. The g pawn is pinned. King h2 might be a solution here. Although then maybe bishop c8, queen g4 is an idea, or rook g4, rook takes h4. This is serious. Magnus does need to do something urgent. Actually, I don't think he can maintain this. Rook takes g3 and f2 check is also
in the air.
In the air. This is very dangerous. Magnus has to sacrifice back, trade off pieces. But I'm starting to think that this is a position. Yep.
He goes king h2, but now
Rook g4 played real quickly. If queen f1, bishop c8, and I want to do rook takes h4, gh4, queen h4, bring my other rook and just deliver checkmate on the g file. So queen f1, bishop c8, I think is a move that he may have underestimated. Bishop c8. Bishop c8 here, rook takes h4. And then you bring the other rook to the g file. Yeah. Problem is this knight on c1. What is it doing? Nothing.
The problem is the board is so cut in half. Black could even play g5 here. Black has time to do right to pry open. Okay, he goes for bishop c8 as you said. But
this is yeah. And now
here he goes. He found the combination. Rook takes h4. It's over.
The king can't run to f1, Danny, because there is bishop to a6 check.
Look at how nasty that is. Oof. Bishop a6.
And now you keep the pin. Wait a second. Now he needs to think.
You don't even need to do it. Play rook d8 even, right?
Play rook d8.
Gang up on it. Yep, and he finds it. Wow.
No, this was...
Now he could take with the bishop. And
take with the bishop and just go into the endgame.
Yeah.
Because the king is still stuck.
Well, again, we already know, we've been highlighting that Wesley So has persevered very recently.
Very impressive so far.
He lost a crazy game that was highlightable about 5 minutes ago, and guess what?
Well,
he just returned the favor. Now Magnus
Carlsen. Let's talk about how Black converts this.
Okay.
Because he still needs that little push. Do you try to play queen to c2? Do you try to play your queen d3 check?
Queen d3 and rook d6 maybe. Queen d3, rook d6, and flip back to the king side. I kind of like that.
Queen d3 check, king g1, rook d6. I'll play king h2. Maybe you have queen e2. Okay, that seems like it's winning. He needs to, yeah. That's.
No, you're right, though. I guess I was jumping the gun. The highlight reel isn't fully submitted yet, because if Wesley doesn't convert this properly, Magnus might wiggle his way into a drawn rook.
So now he has an alternative, or maybe he plays like rook f8, rook f4, or here gets his queen to e2. Should be winning. He just needs to watch out for perpetual. So queen g4. I don't even know. There's no perpetual here. Yeah, this is going to be. We're going to see a resignation fairly.
Oh, he's even got
soon.
Queen takes f2 coming with mate, so the
rook
on d8
g1
can be taken.
What do you do after rook g1? What Magnus is saying is that rook takes g7 with the perpetual.
No way. Wesley just blundered into the perpetual. Oh my gosh.
But what that was like really. I mean, he had to take time there. That's ridiculous from Wesley.
Oh, no.
I have to say no. That was too simple. That's like. No.
Wesley has got to take more time there. There was no reason to allow that.
That was,
I mean, play rook d7 instead of d1 queen, and
it's one of those. Oh man, that is heartbreaking for Wesley.